Hello and welcome to Phoenix Cinema Podcast. I'm your co-host Chris Austin, and joining me is my fellow co-host.
Hey Chris, how's it going?
How you doing? Luke Parker, of course, is your name, and we will be joined eminently at any moment by editor and composer of the podcast, Stefan Krieger, as well, fashionably late, as always. He's probably napping. This is a podcast where we discuss the programme of London's most historic cinema venue, among other things. And this week, we are discussing two movies in our bid to catch up with movies. The first is the latest film by the legend, the master, Steven Spielberg, Disclosure Day.
In Disclosure Day, a cybersecurity expert uncovers classified files from a government contractor that prove humanity has been in contact with extraterrestrials for decades. Simultaneously, a local meteorologist experiences a sudden, inexplicable neurological event during a live broadcast, speaking in a language that defies human logic. These two strangers find their lives intersecting as they become the primary targets of a shadowy organisation determined to bury the evidence at any cost. With the world unaware of the profound reality lurking just beneath the surface, the pair must navigate a web of high-stakes surveillance, struggling to comprehend the weight of a secret that threatens to permanently shatter the foundations of human history. Steven Spielberg, Emily Blunt, a lot of big names associated with this film. I know it's a little while ago since you saw it, but do you want to kick us off with some initial thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so curious about what you thought of this, because this has been a hell of a mixed reaction. I mean, I am reading people panning it, and there are people who really, really like it. And I have fallen on the side of, I loved this movie.
Okay, interesting.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't expect to.
I think we might have made it. We might have
finally made it. We've made it. Oh boy, I feared as much. Yeah, I didn't expect to love it, but I did. It's my favorite film of the year so far.
Wow. Okay, that's big considering we've had some pretty good ones. Okay,
we've had good ones, and yet, this is my. I don't think it will stay my favorite. I'll say that.
Sure,
but. Yeah, it's just...
Wait, better than Hamnet? Or you count Hamnet as last year?
Oh, yeah, I do, don't I? Yes, I do.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
all right, panic over.
But to be fair, if I put Hamnet and this side by side, Hamnet takes it all day. All day.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I really loved it, and I can tell you why. But I think first and foremost, it's just that Spielberg is such a master. And I think the directing is absolutely brilliant. And he's collaborating with his people. You know, John Williams on the score. It's not a score that has a memorable theme, but you hear Williams. You hear the legend.
Yes.
And David Koepp's screenplay. I think it's super fun. I think it's a really interesting story and characters. And I love these people. They've made such a massive impact on me movie-wise in my life in their previous collaborations, and I just love that they're still working together again, and you can tell it's them. You know what I mean? And I really, really liked that. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, we can get into more specifics, but tell me why you hated it.
I did not hate it at all.
Okay,
I did not hate it. The problem, I don't think it's a bad movie. I really don't. The problem is, like you were just saying, with all these big names, on paper, this should be something special. Like this could have very easily been one of the best sci-fi movies of the decade and could have been my favourite movie of the year so far. But it was just such a big letdown. I think the story is really weak. I think structurally it's really poor. It doesn't pick up at all until the third act of the film. I think Emily Blunt is the only interesting character in the film. I think the score, although good, and like does exactly what you say. Like it brings that classic 70s Williams feel to the movie, but it doesn't. The film doesn't give the score any standout moments to really shine. It really doesn't. And to me, I'm surprised you said the screenplay was great, because to me this felt like a first draft of a screenplay. Like it just felt really messy, and I hated the villains. Colin Firth just seems so out of place to me.
Really?
And I think it's such an interesting concept for a film, and I love sci-fi, and I especially love films about aliens. And I've said this before, especially when we were talking about like Project Hail Mary, and when we've spoken about Arrival in the past. Like I love when films kind of explore the idea of extraterrestrial life and what the implications that has for humanity, that kind of thing. I love that. And this film has, don't get me wrong, this film in isolation does have moments of greatness and that I really, really loved. We can get onto them in a little bit, but I think the core conflict of the film essentially is that you have this organization that feels humanity can't handle the truth, basically, right? If Disclosure Day happens, right, chaos will ensue because humanity can't handle knowing that this exists. Whereas on the other hand, our good guys, they think, no, humanity deserves to know, right? They deserve to have this understanding of what the universe truly is. I think that is such a great core conflict for a film. So I just don't understand why Spielberg or the writers felt the need to reduce our villains to this completely derivative cliche set of army men all dressed in black and Colin Firth with his angry face and just really stereotypical villainous tropes, when they could have actually turned it into a really unique and interesting conflict between these two parties. And it just, I didn't like how it went into like the cat and mouse chase between them. I just think they could have done so much more with this concept, and because of that, the film just felt really meh. Hey Stefan, nice of you to join us.
Hello.
Steph.
I've joined at a really tough film is meh. Which were we starting with?
Disclosure Day.
Throw me off.
Yeah, Disclosure Day.
Disclosure Day. Okay.
Yeah, so just to finish, I almost finished my point, but then the only other thing on top of that is like, how can this film, with these names behind it and this budget behind it, have any excuse for how poor the CGI was in this film? Not just of the animals, but also of some of the aliens that we see. Like, it's just inexcusable.
I agree.
I was watching clips, right, that came up on my feed of Transformers from 2007. That's almost 20 years ago, guys, and the film looks fucking amazing. It's better than any CGI I've seen.
I mean, Lord of the Rings, even at the beginning of that decade, is still unbelievably solid, holds up.
Can't touch it.
Yeah.
So I just really don't understand. It's like they've rushed their way through it, and it's like such a shame, because I was saying at the start, Stefan, that on paper, this could have been one of these sci-fi movies of the decade, but it just doesn't even come close to that.
Yep.
But yeah, Stefan, do you want to? I'll throw you in the deep end. Do you want to hit us with your thoughts on Disclosure Day?
Yeah. How recently did you guys watch it? Out of curiosity.
2 weeks for me, maybe. Something like that.
I watched it in the cinema a few weeks ago, but I kind of was half-assed watching a version of it today whilst I was working.
Okay. I watched it probably about a month ago, so my memory isn't as clear, but my opinion on the film is very clear. It's tough because when I think of Spielberg and alien films, I'm thinking of E.T., I'm thinking of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I'm thinking of War of the Worlds, and
classics.
I'm like, these are classic Spielberg alien movies.
They're not just classics. These are formative
All-timers.
films of the entire sci-fi genre. Like,
exactly. And not even if we're talking of Spielberg, it's obviously some of the greatest alien movies he's done. But if we're talking about alien movies in general, he also slips into that as well with E.T. and War of the Worlds and in Close Encounters. So I was like, he's doing another Alien movie. Surely he's got something in his back pocket. Like he's got something. And don't get me wrong, I think Spielberg is one of the only directors I've seen who just directs the hell out of every film. He directs every movie like it's his last or could be his last. And I love that about him.
He's the greatest, probably the greatest visual storyteller of all time.
No doubt about that. And I'm seeing this film and I'm loving the directing. I don't think I can fault him on the directing in this film. But it's, yeah, I don't know what you guys have said, but from what I kind of just caught on from Luke, I don't think you liked it that much. I think it's enjoyable, but it's moments for me. It's not the entire film. It's just moments of greatness, and then you just kind of sliding back to okay-ish sort of storytelling.
Exactly how I felt. Exactly how I felt. Yeah,
but
yeah,
not how I felt. I loved it.
You loved it.
I loved it. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. So okay. Let me dive into this bit. I know we're probably not talking in chronological order here, but the ending for me was not. I was not moved. I was not emotional. I was expecting to be by the end of the film, like E.T., like War of the Worlds, to be grabbed, and I wasn't. How did you feel about the ending of that?
That is so interesting because I felt that was for me one of the moments of greatness I was talking about.
Oh.
Not necessarily the very, very ending. I mean, this is going to have to be a spoiler review. It's going to have to be, right?
Okay, fine.
It's good. When they bring that alien out for some reason in person, I'm thinking, why did we need to do this? But the bit before that, right, where for the first time it's being disclosed and they're showing these clips for the first time, and it's rolling through all this different footage. I'm thinking that's fucking great. That is really, really good.
I agree with that. The showing, when they're reporting it, and she's and to be fair, the actress who's the news reporter does a great job, because when those
Emily
clips
Blunt.
come, she's almost speechless.
Oh,
and
no,
she doesn't
sorry,
know what
I
to
see,
say.
yeah.
Yes.
Reporter.
Yes. That's great. I think that's fine. For me, the issue is I think we've gotten a bit too used to showing the thing, showing the monster, showing the alien, that it's become a bit predictable now. When they show that alien who's been, they bring him out, and it's like the old my memory of this film is almost gone. So bear with me. But that bringing the alien out, and it's apparently an alien they both had experience with them when they were younger. So the alien knows them and they know the alien, and something like that. No, yeah, when that happens, and it's not necessarily, and I'm not like kind of knocking the design of the alien, but it's what you kind of expect of an alien when you hear the word alien. When you see the actual full alien in front of the screen, I felt a bit like that would have been cool if we sort of had less, show us less, a hand or a voice or a foot, something like that, because Spielberg's really great at that also, just showing us something but not everything. So when I see the entire alien, I'm like, I don't know, I feel a bit let down by it.
I think the film, I totally agree with you. Like I would have preferred it, right, if they did exactly that. Like, we didn't need to see the alien up close like that at the very end. But the film, what you're saying is something that it shows too much. It does that from the get-go. I mean, we see these aliens, like actually what they look like, pretty soon into the film, like 15-20 minutes into the film, through some like archive footage, right? And I couldn't help but think of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right?
Which I haven't seen.
Okay, no worries. Like the mystery, right, and the tension behind what these are and what they look like, and that final scene of just their what's the word? Their facade, like their shadow as they're coming off the ship.
Yeah.
Right. And that's only at the very ending, right? So
it's the reveal. Yeah,
it's
it's
the
like
reveal. But this film doesn't have that moment because we're showing way too much, way too soon. And I think they could have just left all of that stuff out, and we could have just had that footage, that montage of footage at the end that we were just talking about.
Yes. Agreed.
Where there's like little glimpse of these little grey men, like, and that's would have been so shocking.
Yes,
I think.
That alone, as if you're putting your mind into the mind of somebody who's seeing this on the news for the first time ever, is enough. Is mind blowing as it is, because you're trying to put your mind in someone who's just seen this, and you're now realizing, oh my gosh, there is life beyond Earth.
Exactly. Like, we could have felt more in parallel to what all these people are feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could have felt like a part of that audience, but no, like, we've been fed too much already. I don't know. What about you, Chris? What do you think?
I kind of understand what you're saying. Maybe it wasn't necessary, the reveal of the alien. In terms of the design of it, I don't think there's meant to be a surprise, because the whole point of the footage that they have apparently leaked is that a lot of this is meant to be based in real fact, right? Area 51, Roswell incident. And actually, they've released this new documentary on Sky because of Disclosure Day about the guys who apparently had the actual footage. They bought it off of an ex-American soldier of Roswell, of the UFO crash that showed the autopsy taking place of the alien lying on the tabletop, the steel table, and how many people thought it was a fake. And then it turns out it was a fake because they actually faked it because the film died. It got too much exposure to oxygen, so they recreated it, but they swear by the fact that it was real. And that stuff fascinates me. And so I think, and when you see the alien in the film, you're like, fucking hell, this is what for all time, people have told you aliens look like: big heads, large eyes. So I don't think that there's not meant to be a shock value with that. But I agree with you, Steph. Maybe the way that they showed it could have been handled. You could have left an element of mystery there with just a hand or something. I totally agree with that. I don't know. I think, do you both believe that we are not alone?
Yes. I think you'd be a fool to think otherwise, to be honest.
Okay. Steph?
That's really changed my answer in a few seconds. No. I think, I believe we are not alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever that looks like, because, there's life as we know it, or we don't know otherwise, right? But you just can't fathom they're not us being unique. Like, that's
100%. It's too
ludicrous, right?
Yeah, it's too vast a universe for us to have any sort of definitive answer. And look, I think maybe on this, guys, we're just going to have to agree to disagree, because I do agree with you a lot on certain things. And I think, because clearly you two are not alone, and there has been, this is a movie that has divided opinion, but the opinions I'm hearing, everyone is on the same page depending on what side you're on. And like you both are saying, which I'm relieved to hear, it's not a bad movie. It's enjoyable. There are certainly moments of it where you're like, fuck yes. And I think, I don't know. It's weird for me. I just think that my love of these creators took me on the journey, and I was willing to go where the movie went. And I personally, whether the movie disappointed you or not, we're not going to see a movie like this again this year. And I do not think that this is anywhere near on a level of any of Spielberg's previous sci-fi films. I don't know. I felt my heart, my movie loving heart grow just watching another Spielberg film with a John Williams score and David Koepp writing it. And I actually can see a lot of the criticisms, and I totally get where you're coming from. I personally kind of really enjoyed it. I loved the pace of the movie. I think we spoke about it earlier, Luke. I love that it's a chase movie. Is it as exciting a chase as Minority Report? Absolutely not. But it has this momentum to it. I love how the film opens. It literally drops you into the middle of the story. It starts in a place where few movies would. You know, usually you would have seen the beginning of the story play out, but here we're just dropped into the middle of a situation and then information is delivered to us in drips and drabs. I thought that was an interesting structure. I think there are two fantastic action set pieces, which Spielberg can do with his eyes closed at this point.
Yeah.
But both sequences are fantastic, and I feel like you have to cherish those moments because that's all you get, right? It's not an action-heavy movie.
Yeah. Well, when you say that,
I'm referring to, so obviously the train sequence,
okay,
which I thought was wonderful. Not only was it wonderful as an action sequence, I thought it was wonderful in terms of like a character focus with what Emily Blunt goes through immediately after that. We rarely see that emotional breakdown after such a highly dramatic incident where someone's almost died. You know, action films rarely stop to let characters take that in. And I thought it was really well done. And then I'm thinking about the moment where the cops or the FBI, the government, converge on the farmhouse.
Nice, yeah.
And Josh O'Connor's trying to get the, you know, and it's far-fetched because the whole time you're like, how has no one turned around and seen this fucking guy?
This guy ducking
That's
behind the
exactly what I
bushes.
thought. Yeah. I mean,
Also, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Well, I was just going to say, just before you joined, I was talking about the villains, and like I really did not like them. I thought they were way too cliche and way too, you know, fucking stupid.
Yes, yes, agree with that. There's one thing. Maybe I'm nitpicking at this point, but I know that Spielberg has taken more care with this before, which is why I'm nitpicking. Is because
fair enough.
The farmhouse. Love the scene. There was a great like continuous shot that he does when like the actor being, what's his name?
Josh O'Connor.
Josh O'Connor. He's getting into the car and then, you know, driving up to the house, and all that whole thing was like almost like a one shot thing. It's filmed really well. I will never say that Spielberg can't film because he knows how to film. But that him going to the cars and nobody deciding to sort of turn around, you know, looking southwest. No one looks southwest. Okay, fine. But then we end the car chase, which is the car chase is filmed really great. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's one of the best parts of the film. And especially when Colin Firth's character is taking over her in the car, that was really great as well. But after that car chase, they push the car off the cliff and goes into the water, and then they just kind of go behind one bush, and they're like, let's just duck down here. They won't look here. And these are like supposed to be some sort of super CIA agents, you know, like
I thought the exact
you know,
same.
it's like, come on. I feel like Minority Report, they would take
a little bit lazy.
Exactly,
right?
It's a bit lazy writing because in films like Minority Report, they would hunker down on that detail and they would not make that.
Listen, I get it. I think the suspension of disbelief was there for me. I saw that too. I just had to let that go and be like, I appreciate the sequence. Not all of it. I'm completely with you both. I'm like, but I'm willing to go with it because Spielberg, I love you. So I think that was my, and listen, I will say this too, because you've mentioned it a couple of times, Luke, the villain, about Colin Firth. I thought he was fine. I thought he does his bit well. My favorite thing about his character was the use of the technology. I thought that was so interesting because, you know, and like I said, we're dropped into the middle of a story. So they've acquired this piece of technology from extraterrestrial life. They still don't quite know how to use it. It's dangerous to use it, but the power you have when using it, that interrogation scene, I loved it, personally.
To be honest, I thought it was a bit lazy again. Because
really? Why?
Because I thought this artifact, to me, it just felt like a plot device so that any character could literally do whatever they want, and it was never really explained. Go on, Stefan.
Just rejog my memory here. The interrogation scene, is that when he gets placed into the farmhouse?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That one.
Continue.
just in terms of filmmaking and editing, I thought it was a really interesting sequence because it was demonstrating for the first time what the technology is capable of doing, and how powerful it is, and yet how limited it is at the same time. So he's constantly having to feed and try and get information from her. Look around you, slowly. He's directing her. I was like leaning forward the entire time. I thought it was in terms of editing as well.
No, I agree. I think that was a really cool scene, and I like that ability with the artifact. And if that was what it could do, I'd get it. But there's no real explanation of what this artifact is, and then throughout the film, it's just kind of used as a bit of a Deus Ex Machina to just like get out of these different situations, right? Yeah. Right at the very end when Jane is her name, like she somehow gets into the building, right? Pushes her way through all these security men and hands it to Emily Blunt so she can turn the power back on, and she can use it to make everything invisible as well. Like, it just, to me, it felt like a little bit of a cop out.
Yeah, it's like
it's very convenient when
it's like the Force in Star Wars. The Force can do fucking anything that the writer needs it to do in the moment.
Right.
Yes. I get that.
I feel I love the scene where Colin Firth is taking over the girl at the back of the car during the car chase, because you've got multiple things to focus on, and it's like it's a high tense scene. But towards the end, I mean, to be honest, a lot of the film for me with Colin Firth, he's the bad guy because just painted out to be the bad guy. And whenever I think about the bad guy in a Steven Spielberg film, I just think about like. One thing that comes to my head is in E.T. when he reveals the bad guy with just showing the keys on his hip. And then, we go further into the film and you get to reveal more about the bad guy. And I love that reveal of every time it's him, he's got the keys on his hip. That's it. That's all we know.
As seen from ground level, from a child's POV.
Exactly. You don't see
the
his
adult's
face.
Hip. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when I think about this bad guy in this film, played by Colin Firth, I'm thinking, you're such a weak bad guy, because you have this moment with the car where he takes over that, and that's the best. That's, I think, for me, the most, the baddest he gets. He takes over the girl, and you're thinking, what's he going to do with her? They're going to crash, or whatever. After that, I think he becomes pretty useless. He tries to chase. And chase. And by the time we get to the end in the newsroom, he sort of walks in there and he's like, oh, fuck, well, I tried, right?
Accepts defeat a bit too
a little too easily for me.
Yeah.
For the bad guy they're setting him up to be. Exactly.
Yeah.
He was like, she's on TV now, so, I'm just going to sit down and sort of see how this goes.
Yeah.
That's too easy. Way too easy.
And I see it. Listen, I see it. And I think maybe it is a writer's convenience. Maybe it is. So yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. And I let a lot of this go. In terms of performances, yeah, I mean, you've spoken about Colin Firth, but I mean, I think Emily Blunt is great in the film.
I think she's great.
She has the hardest job. She's asked to do a lot, and I think she handles it really capably. Josh O'Connor is fine. I think he does his job. This is the fourth O'Connor film we've discussed on the podcast in 3 years. That's how fucking busy this guy is right now.
I don't think his character is very interesting. It's almost as if it suffers because there's just so much going on around him that we never really get a moment to like know him as a character, really.
It's true, yeah.
Always something happening to him, or he's running away from something.
It's true, yeah. There's a lot that you kind of have to just project onto the character. And I don't know, I think part of the reason, I'll be honest with you both, that I enjoyed it so much is because when I watched it, sometimes when I'm enjoying a movie, I choose the character that I would want to play. And then, as I'm sitting there in the seat, I play them. And I played Josh O'Connor throughout this entire movie, and I had so much fun. So from an actor's point of view, I chose a character, and that was a huge way in for me. So I really, really enjoyed it. But I totally see your point, Luke.
I thought you were going to be like, yeah, you know, when you pick a character and you play that character, I was the alien. And I thought, you know what? Come in at the end,
Yes.
whisper into their ears a little bit.
Final 2 minutes. Yeah.
No, I'm really glad you enjoyed it, and I agree with you on a lot of stuff. It's particularly around the fact, you know, with Williams and Spielberg, there's a kind of magic when you're watching them, and you do feel that in this film. It's just maybe me and Stefan just found it harder to turn a blind eye to the other stuff.
I really wanted to enjoy this film. I wanted to enjoy it so badly, and especially because, you know, Williams is 94 years old and Spielberg is 79, and they have this companionship that's been going on for decades, which you cannot deny is just pure genius between both of them.
And they're at the end now. This is the
They are
final
at the end.
stretch.
This is the thing with especially with more so John Williams than Steven Spielberg, because Spielberg is younger. I'm like, we don't know if this is his last film, scoring this last film, or if it's his last few films. I want to appreciate everything that he's doing before he goes eventually, whenever that may be.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, as the score of this movie is a whole different conversation, guys, a whole different conversation compared to the film. But I can't let go of the things that I saw during the film, like the those things that I saw. I appreciate it as a Spielberg and John Williams and David Koepp collaboration, as I always do. I don't think Spielberg can make a bad film, to be fair, but I can also see where it's not great compared to what he's done before.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think, you know, so by the way, I would give this 5 stars, but that's me being very, very generous. Yeah, because I can see what you're saying. Listen, even the at the end, the way I think it's a little far-fetched how the entire world is enraptured by the breaking news. I think in this day and age, I just think some people wouldn't bat an eye.
No one would give a fuck.
Yeah. I mean, so that stretches belief a little, you know.
But not even like the fact that everyone believes it. The fact that everyone is somehow on their phone at the same time. Yeah. There are nuns. Why are nuns gathered around the TV? No nuns are going to be gathered around the TV at that time, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, news doesn't work like that anymore. Yeah, it's not the 70s.
Yeah.
No matter how much quickly it travels now. And yes, I think the CGI was very clunky, especially of the animals, which was so surprising. I didn't expect that. Yeah, the film isn't perfect. And the whole backstory of an upcoming nuclear war with Korea, that it's looming in the background, and then it just gets wiped at the end to deal with this far more important story for the human race than fighting each other. The metaphor is very clunky and it isn't subtle. But I found I was willing to let those aspects go. I will just say this. Yeah, it's again saying to exactly what you were saying in a way, Steph. I just feel like we need to appreciate these masters while we still can, while they're still alive and continuing to make movies. I mean, Spielberg, Williams, Koepp, individually and together, this is my childhood. These are the people who made movies that made the biggest impact on me. It was literally this combination of filmmakers that blew my mind and showed me what movies are capable of with Jurassic Park. And to still see them working together today, making movies, making them well, continuing that collaboration that has lasted for decades. I was saying it earlier, it just warms my movie-loving heart. And just hearing Williams' strings every now and then in the movie made me drop in and made me realize at times who I'm listening to, who's behind the camera, and it made me excited. And on top of all that, I enjoyed it. I had fun. And I realized that we're not really getting movies like this anymore. Movies that, while being big summer blockbusters, are aimed at adults and trying to tell a smart, involving story that's fun for all ages and original too. No IP, no sequel, prequel. It's not interested in setting up a universe. It's not trying to overload the film with action set piece after action set piece to appease moviegoers.
Yeah.
it kind of felt like a throwback to the Spielberg of the early 2000s when he would make this kind of movie. We've mentioned it before, but something in the vein of Minority Report or War of the Worlds, both written by Koepp. Again, those movies, far superior.
Mm.
But even movies like AI or Catch Me If You Can, I feel like there's elements of those movies in here. And I feel like I haven't seen this Spielberg in over 2 decades. Even Ready Player One didn't excite me as much as this. And that was Alan Silvestri composing that. Nothing wrong with him. But you want Williams when you're dealing with Spielberg. That's just set in stone at this point. And I think you notice when it's not, even on a subconscious level. So if this is a bad film, no, not even that, or a disappointing film to what some people were expecting, for me, give me 10 more of these, please. Give me 10 more films just like these from these filmmakers. Just like this, sorry. And and that's more than enough for me. So I think it was my love of the collaborators that clearly allowed me to let a lot of shit go.
do you rate this higher than The Fabelmans?
Oh, that was a good movie, to be fair.
Because that Fabelmans was
really
fucking great.
That was a really good movie.
And that's John Williams and that's Steven Spielberg again.
And actually, I think it's an even better Williams score.
Yeah?
Totally different kinds of films.
They're
but
I was going to say, hard to compare, because this kind of felt more like a traditional Spielberg, like from the 70s and 80s, because of the themes it's playing with, whereas The Fabelmans felt like a little bit of a curveball from him.
Yeah. And The Fabelmans, I feel like, is the key that unlocks Spielberg's entire filmography. Yeah, as an autobiographical film, all of a sudden you were like, oh, so this is who you are and this is why you tell the stories you do.
Right.
It was very personal, and I thought that was quite interesting. Yeah.
No, I get there are two complete different films and aimed at probably different genre, different people as well, different audiences. Just as a Spielberg Williams collaboration, would you rate The Fabelmans higher than this or no?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Did you give it a 5?
I actually, because we didn't discuss it on this, I never thought about that. I have to think about that.
Because you gotta, if you rate it higher than this one, you have to give it a 5.
I should give it a 5. I think I need to watch it again. I liked it though. I liked it.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I am alone today. That's okay. because we're not alone in a wider sense.
Right.
I must take comfort in that.
What did you guys think about Coleman Domingo's character?
Yeah, I thought that he was fine. I don't have much else to say about it. I thought he was fine. I thought Wyatt Russell, he surprisingly got very little to do, and he was so annoying in this movie. But I think everyone was fine. But I think Blunt carries the movie home.
Yeah.
Domingo doesn't really get a chance to showcase anything particularly amazing. His characters, I feel like his character doesn't really do much.
He's an interesting character for sure, but I feel like his story has been told off screen. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, he's already the orchestrator. He's already facilitating. He's already building the house. You know what I mean? And it's like, where he's coming from on a personal level, we've missed it. He's already defected from the government, just like Josh O'Connor. He was Josh O'Connor's superior, right? His manager, his supervisor. Their story has begun already, so it's very hard. You just have to be like, okay. Right?
I find it tough to accept because from 3 people who watch Kes and watch the teacher steal the show in about how many minutes, I feel like Coleman Domingo has a role, and I think he has enough time. He has enough screen time to do something to impress us, and it doesn't come. and he says, and every line that comes out of his mouth is like he's constantly being recorded on his podcast or whatever his little thing is. It's just so performative every single time. I'm like, when do you drop that? Even when you're talking to Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor's character, it's like, when are you dropping this facade? I don't see it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice that either. And I do wonder if that's just a casualty of the way of the script. Because Coleman Domingo's clearly a great actor, and he's another actor who, just like Josh O'Connor, is just showing up everywhere now.
Yeah.
Because he's having his moment.
Yeah.
And we recently just watched him as Joe Jackson in
in
Michael, and I think he was great in that. But, you know, like, for instance, you put those two movies side by side, being realistic, what's he going to get nominated for?
No, I'm not trying to get an Oscar-worthy performance from him, but I think that just thinking about his character and what he did, I can replace about 10 other actors in his role and be like, yeah, nothing changes.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I think he does what he does well, but the only reason he's there doing it is because at the moment he's Coleman Domingo.
Right.
And he's in demand.
And he's in a Spielberg movie.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I think that's true. Yeah. But fucking hell, the Josh O'Connor, his career continues, man. I mean, he just... Who's next? For fuck's this guy, man?
You notice as well that it's a lot of British actors who are like...
That's true.
You know what I mean? Playing Americans.
It's mostly all British actors being American. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. That's so... I didn't even think about that.
Before we move on, can I just speak about the score for a second?
Yeah, please.
For me, I don't think I heard it as much when I watched the film. During the film, there were definitely motifs and reoccurring character themes that I did hear from John Williams, but it wasn't like an sort of in-your-face score for me that I've heard from John Williams and Steven Spielberg film before. So, to be honest, I probably gave it a 2 listens, the album. I gave it a good 2 listens through and picked around 3 tracks that I maybe liked. And then this morning, I was listening to it again at work. And also, when I'm closing at work or when I'm saying goodbye to people who are leaving the screen, and I'm hearing this score play, you immediately know it's John Williams. And you immediately go, I haven't heard an end credit score like this in a very long time, which is great because he's 94 years old and he's still churning out some great soundtracks. And so I'm listening to it today and I'm like, this is a great score. It's a great score. And the motifs... I agree,
but the film doesn't give it a chance to shine.
It does. That's what I'm saying. Issue. When I saw the film, I didn't appreciate the score because I only in hindsight, listening to the score by itself is when I can fully appreciate it. I don't think you're right. The film doesn't give it a moment to appreciate. I think there's definitely things when I'm hearing the score that I go, I remember this played during this scene, this played during that scene, but it wasn't like me appreciating it straight after the film. I had to sort of do the solo listen to appreciate it. And that's fine. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it needs a bit of a solo listen for you to appreciate it. But it's so good. It's typical Williams, and he uses, for example, if I'm making a score, I'll usually use chords. When I use chords, I use about 3 notes in those chords. So if it's like a C minor chord, I use a C minor chord, a C major chord. He does these major 7th chords where he adds another note onto the existing 3-note chord. So he'll take the 3 and he'll add another at the end. And for some reason, that just elevates and it just brings the liveliness to every single track that he does. And it's so... even like, it's not... I don't think it's a fantastic score, but it's still a good score. And with a simple theme that he does or comes out with, I'm like, it's just, you're just adding something to the chords, does something entirely different for the entire score. And of course he adds his own like sort of Williamsness that you hear in every other Harry Potter and Star Wars, and you know it when you hear it. I can't explain it to you, but you'll know it when you hear it. And I fully appreciated that. Every single time that movie came out, I'm like, I'm standing by the doors, I'm listening to the score. Because you won't get it that often.
So would you say the album's worth listening to, or only certain tracks?
I would have said certain tracks if I didn't listen to it this morning. Now that I listened to it this morning, I'd say listen to the entire album.
Sick.
Because there are moments and you go, ooh, what is this?
Okay. Yeah, no one does Williams like Williams.
Nope.
And the guy is in his 90s. And you think about the generations of film composers that he's inspired. Imitators,
Yeah.
some of them, and no one comes close to Williams. And this is the thing, like Luke. Yes, there was no discernible theme, recognizable theme at least, that you could notice in the movie, and no moment for Williams to really unleash. Nowhere for his score to breathe, and yet it could take 2 seconds as Spielberg pushes in on like them jumping over a fence, and you hear Williams strings, and you're like, there is no one else that could do these 2 seconds like John Williams. And that is remarkable, right?
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't appreciate as much as he was doing until I listened on the solo listen. I think if you both just go and listen to the final track, the last track of the
Celestial
album,
or something, I think it's called.
Reprise, isn't it?
The last one is Reprise,
sorry.
I think. Listen to that, and if you don't like that, you probably won't like the rest of the album. But if you listen to that and you go, listen to how he's going, 5-minute track, going in between these themes, and basically representing the film for you, for your ears, then you probably won't like the rest of the album. But I give it a go, because it's so fucking good.
I'll listen. No, 100% I'll listen to it. That's piqued my interest now. Okay. Actually, I haven't listened to any of it.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that. Thank you for that, Steph. Yeah, thanks for bringing attention to that. Cool. All right. And shall we move on?
Let's move on. Didn't realize we were talking about this one for so long.
Well,
sorry, you got an editing job on your hands here, Stefan.
That's all right.
He usually does. The thing is, as we were when I got cut off earlier, I was saying maybe Disclosure Day should have been its own episode, because there's just too much to get into here. But out of curiosity, I think I just need to know what both your ratings are. I've already told you mine would be a 5, which shocked you. 3 for Luke.
3 for me. Yeah.
I gave this when I watched it on. I put it on Letterboxd. I gave it 3.
3. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's at an average of 3.1 at the moment. So
makes total sense based on what you've said. Okay, then. Well, let's see if we can align on our next film on the docket, which is the newest film by Olivia Wilde, The Invite.
In The Invite, Joe and Angela's struggling marriage is pushed to its breaking point during an agonizingly awkward dinner party. Seeking to escape their stifling routine, they invite their uninhibited upstairs neighbours over, hoping for a spark. However, the evening devolves into chaos when a reckless suggestion for a partner swap is proposed. Forced to confront deep-seated insecurities and hidden resentments, the couple must navigate a night of simmering tension, fragile boundaries, and unfiltered domestic conflict. So, Olivia Wilde's new film. Before we jump into The Invite, how familiar are we with her first couple of movies? For her first is it 1 or 2? I know she did Don't Worry, Darling.
I think this is her third.
Booksmart as well.
Her first one was
Booksmart, that's it. Yeah.
Very familiar. I've seen
them,
both.
like them.
Seen both, yeah. I remember them both very clearly as well.
And what about you, Luke? Sorry, have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen and I really liked Booksmart, but Don't Worry, Darling, not yet.
Don't Worry, Darling.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet?
I was very disappointed by. But Booksmart was fantastic. I
loved Booksmart. It was so good.
So good.
So good.
So she's, it's really cool to see her continue to sort of grow as a filmmaker.
Really grow, yeah.
The movie begins with a quote from Oscar Wilde, and for a second it threw me. I was like, oh my fucking God, is she like Oscar Wilde's great-granddaughter or something? I was like... But I went first last time, Luke. So why don't you let us know what your thoughts?
Well, we've just gone from probably my biggest disappointment of the year so far to the biggest surprise of the year so far, because I went to the cinema the other day to see this with a friend, and this isn't usually his kind of thing, to be honest, because this film's essentially a play, really, isn't it?
100%, yes.
We both loved it. It was hilarious. It hit all the right beats, and what a script. I mean, this is one of the best screenplays that I've heard in years. So quick fire, so witty, but really, really intimately powerful. And it was so fast paced. It's like I didn't realize how quickly the movie was moving. Yeah, I really, really loved it. The characters were great. Interactions were great. So funny. I loved every minute of this movie.
Damn, that's fucking hell. Well praised. Okay. Okay, what about you, Steph?
Yes, Stefan?
Yeah, I agree with Luke. I loved it. I love the directing. Olivia Wilde has such a
particular vision in this film.
Oh, sorry everyone. Sorry. The episode's so long, the film ran out. Here we go. Putting it back in. Alright, we're back on. Sorry.
Particular vision in this film?
that I don't think I saw in Don't Worry, Darling, or even Booksmart. I think she's definitely evolved as a director. And even the opening sort of credits, when she sort of cut out the door or the window and then fade it back in as they're coming in through it or whatever, it's so good. And again, the screenplay, I'm thinking about the lines and the dialogue and the conversations they're going through, and I'm like, how do you write this? It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Performances are good as well. I like the choice of the actors they chose to just for these four, which is great.
I remember when I first saw the trailer for this, I saw it was playing as a preview when I was in the cinema a few months ago. I was like, Seth Rogen seems a little bit like a fish out of water here, but watching the movie, he does a perfect job, I think.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think when you see Seth Rogen in something and you've got him alongside these like actors who you can probably say have a bit more range than him, you would go, how's he going to fit in here?
Yeah.
But somehow he manages to just do it. Just being
good.
himself and being the character you've seen him do before. It's just, he fits in. And I guess this is one of those scripts where it's just like he makes it work and he adapts to it.
Seth Rogen is fast becoming America's favorite weed smoking cousin.
Yeah.
This, along with the studio, like he's really gone up in my estimation over like the last 12 months.
He's honestly, his career is going to heights that after his breakout, I never could have foreseen.
No, yeah. I think he knows a good script and he knows a good film when he sees it. He doesn't necessarily change his way of acting. Or,
exactly. And that's the thing, Steph. He is so Seth Rogen in everything he does, because you can only really bring yourself to a role. And does he have much range? I don't know if he does, but he approaches everything with honesty. And that's it. And that's all you need. Matters.
Yeah. I'm just thinking back to different Seth Rogen roles, and I'm like, he is technically playing himself in those roles, but how does one do that without you going, he's just doing the same thing again?
Yes.
I don't know how, but
you said, the opening credits, you hear it's like old camcorder footage of him and his wife playing the piano together, and she keeps fucking it up, and then he laughs, and it's the Seth Rogen laugh.
I'm
laugh, pretty sure that is meant to make you laugh already before you've even seen a shot of the movie.
Right. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Honestly, I know the implication of the trailer sort of tells us where we're going in the film.
Yeah.
But when you're sat in there and you're watching it, you're like, you can't get, there's these little side roads that you're like, I didn't expect this.
It really takes its time to get there. And that's what I love about it. It takes so much time and care fleshing out these characters, well, particularly Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde's characters. And it's like the fact that it takes that time to do that just makes the last third of the film just even more awkward and interesting to sit through.
What do you think, Chris?
Well, so what we know about the film from what I've looked up is that the film is a remake of a Spanish film called The People Upstairs, also known as Sentimental, by this writer Cesc Gay. And that was an adaptation of his own play. And you can tell this began life on the stage because it's perfectly set up for that, right? One location primarily and just 4 principal actors. I have a feeling this would play even better kept in the original format. Remove famous actors like Seth Rogen, Olivia Wilde, Edward Norton, and Penelope Cruz. Remove marketing trailers. And you just have a basic concept, and you go and you sit down, and then you watch the story play out. Then I think it will hit you even more. Whereas we saw the trailer numerous times for this film. If you're like me, going to watch films for Phoenix Cinema Podcast, this film trailer came up a lot. And, you know, it became very obvious that the film is about a threesome or a foursome. You know, you can't hide that.
Yeah.
So you're waiting for that. I just think the film would play even better with zero expectation of what's coming your way. So the fact that this movie does so well, where you know that that's part of the dynamic, is credit to Olivia Wilde, I think.
Yeah. So you're saying like if you were going to watch it live on a stage, you wouldn't know as much from the, like, considering you've seen a trailer? Or?
Surely not.
Yeah.
Surely not. Yeah. Or at least there would be way more elements of surprise to it, because there's no such, let's be honest, there's no such thing really as a cut trailer to a play, unless you have big stars in it. And even then, they don't give away too much. I don't think I loved this movie as much as you both did. I thought the movie was okay. I read a lot of reviews about this when it came out, and I do agree with one thing that was mentioned in some of these reviews, and that is that the beginning I felt was very clunky. I thought there was a lot about it that feels forced and awkward, particularly the dynamic between Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde and some of their banter, and especially the score for me. I thought the score was very indicative in a way that I found moments of the film we discussed recently, Obsession, to be. This score was by Devonte Hines, and I just felt like the score was constantly trying to explain the tone or the mood to us, and I never liked it. Anytime it showed up, it was noticeable for me, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, I agree with the point about the score for sure. Although I really don't agree with the point about their banter at the beginning being awkward or clunky. To me, it felt completely natural and believable.
That's interesting, yeah, because I found it to be quite annoying and not really funny. And
like when he just gets home and they have that.
When he just gets home, and they've got about 10 minutes until we have our co-stars show up. I get what they're trying to put across. Nothing in their relationship is working, and these are complete opposites of characters. That's the entire point. I get that, but it felt forced, you know. And listen, I'm not saying that Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde are not good in this film. I think they are good. Maybe it's a casualty of the writing and the fact that we have to, in such a short amount of time, paint a very quick portrait of who these two are before this couple show up and like blow their marriage wide open. So it wasn't really working for me. But as the film goes on, especially around the moment where they all just stop dancing around each other and finally get to talking about the sex parties, And it's actually the moment Joe and Angela, Rogan and Wilde's characters, become more curious and engaged. All of a
Yes.
sudden, it started to get a lot better. It became genuinely funny and interesting. And that's when I found myself leaning in a bit more and wondering where this was all going. Seth Rogen, in those moments where they are explaining the finer details of their sex parties, had me going. I mean,
But that's what made me find it funnier, because you've seen how they are with each other before these guests arrive, their neighbors arrive, and how argumentative they are, and how picky they are, and how bitter, everything about each other. And the minute a sex party is mentioned, they're suddenly all on the same page because they're just curious and they want to know. That's what made me find it even funnier, because you know what they're like without these guys here. But the minute that subject is brought up, they are suddenly on the same page.
do you know what it is? I think it's even more pronounced how awkward the dynamic is. And yes, some of it is intentional, but some of it is played just to the camera. And it doesn't make sense for me in terms of there are 4 characters in this space. So there are moments where Rogan and Wilde's character are clearly communicating with each other about something being very off in front of these two in a way that's like, oh, guys, come on. Like, you're playing for the camera, not for the fact that there are 4 people in this space.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that on stage,
That must be so hard to deal with. Like, how would even on stage, like...
No,
I
think
can't
on
bypass that issue, right?
I think on stage there's 100% a suspension of disbelief, even more so than watching something on screen. And I think you can isolate that on stage, and sometimes that just involves lighting. But on camera, sometimes you're like, oh my god, like Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz are clearly, I mean, they're right there. Seth Rogen wants to bring up a subject and she keeps shoving food into his mouth. I mean, it's like it's heightened in a way that's, yes, it's meant to be funny, but at times I'm like, I was like, it's a little...
I don't expect, and I don't think Penelope Cruz and Norton's characters are not privy to that fact. Like, they're sat there whilst this is happening, looking at them like they're absolute idiots.
And I think you're right, Luke. I think you're right. And then, but their reaction to that isn't funny to me, because it's like, yes, we know that they have an issue in their marriage. Them portraying that in front of these two, and these two just giving them, and they do, by the way, Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz just keep giving them these looks. That's not funny. You know, I guess for me, it was like, the script works and the film connects when they actually start to connect with each other. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But like we said, regardless, what did you guys think of the performances? Because even when it wasn't working for me, I thought they were all really good and they have a great chemistry with each other.
Yeah, I think standout for me was Norton. This is the best we've seen Norton in a very long time. In a very long time. So Edward Norton and Olivia Wilde were the 2 standouts for me. Like, because Seth Rogen, as we just said, like, he's just doing Seth Rogen, but it does work. But yeah, Norton and Wilde for me were definitely the standouts.
Oh, interesting. What about you, Steph?
I actually thought, as much as Olivia Wilde does a great job directing, I think sometimes she's doing a bit too much on camera. And with her, like, sort of, she does this thing with her eyes, and I don't know if it's just her, but she does this...
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wide-eyed thing, or she's like having a conversation with someone and she wides it, and it's like, you doing that because of what the dialogue is, or is that just you being you? I'm not too sure. But she'd sometimes play into it a little too much for me. And I really enjoyed how she was doing before, but then I think in the conversations that she was having with Edward Norton's character, she would do that a lot, and I'm like, you're doing too much when you have nothing to say. Just like calm down a bit, let him have the scene, and then come back to when you need to pipe up, basically. So there were moments of that.
I agree with that.
You don't know if you
I agree. I agree she was doing a lot, but I don't think it was too much, because I think that was just how that was just her character, wasn't it? Like she's it's not exactly subtle, the fact that she's a little bit on like anxious and on edge and neurotic, really.
No, yeah. She's clearly like that throughout the entire film, but for me, when I see the way she is in front of all four of them compared to a scene where it's isolated between one character, it kind of gets a little bit elevated compared to what she was before. And I'm like, is this you're trying to like show the audience you're anxious, or are you just being you? And for me, it came across as you're trying to show us you're doing this when you don't need to, because we know you're like this already. We've seen you, you know?
Yeah, okay.
But I still really enjoyed her. There was moments between these dialogue scenes where I would go, you don't need to do that.
That's fair. You know, I totally get that, especially based on my like criticisms from earlier in the film. Yeah, I think everyone's great in the film. I think they really are. I think Rogan does kind of steal the show, but that's probably because his character probably has the best lines. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100% he does.
It's just sarcasm 24/7.
Yeah, he's sarcasm. And when he's talking about, his Edward Norton's love of carpets, and then when they talk about, so you like being pegged, right? So then now your relationship with carpets makes sense. He's like, you're so close. It's those little quick like one-liners that he throws out that just kills you. I mean, he's great. I think Penelope Cruz is also really good in it.
She is, yeah.
She has great screen presence. She's obviously stunning to look at as well.
Also, how old is Penelope Cruz? Because it's not aged a fucking day from the last movie I've seen her in.
Oh my word. You know what? You're so right. Yeah, you're so right. Penelope Cruz, let's have a look.
52.
52. She looks incredible.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's good because there's a build-up to the entrance of Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz, right? Mm-hmm. They talk about these two. And then when they talk about these two constantly fucking upstairs and her orgasms are insane, it's like, okay, there needs to be this is a presentation now. You need to bring in actors who can really hold our attention. And I think Olivia Wilde cast it perfectly.
Yeah.
Penelope Cruz is fantastic. But yeah, I think Olivia Wilde is great too. And I feel like she has the harder job out of everyone in this movie, emotionally. When you think about what she's going through, there's a lot that she has to convey and get across. And when you think about her emotional arc from beginning to end, that's a lot to ask of any actor. And I think that she does a really, really good job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you both surprised at all by the tonal shifts of this movie? Because it bounces between comedy and drama and back again a few times. Did you think it was handled well?
Yeah. I think it was,
particularly the ending, because it ends on a rather somber note. But it didn't really feel jarring to me, which I think is a testament to just how well written the film is.
Yeah. Even the conversation that comes out from Edward Norton when, Seth Rogen's poking fun at him and he comes out with that story and you're like, oh, this is also really well written the way he tells, and well performed mostly. I think that's where you get the, the drop of the change in emotion. But yeah, I think it was handled well.
Listening to that story, I thought that was just going to be like the world's longest setup to a joke. Like I knew Seth Rogen was going to say something as soon as he finished his trauma dump. Yeah.
yeah. The thing is, the worst point about that monologue goes back to the score for me. If you listen to the score in that moment, whoever Devontae Hines is, they bring in these strings, and it's like.
Doing a little bit too much.
And it's like, hang on a minute, can you don't tell me this is sad. I know it is based on what he's saying. Stop indicating to me. I think that was my biggest fucking issue. How weird. Okay, by the way, Luke, have you watched Tuna yet?
I have not watched it yet.
Okay, without giving away too much, Steph, how weird is that ending? because it's basically the same as Tuna, right? Did you realize that? Very weirdly similar endpoint for both films, and a weirdly similar backstory for Rogan's character in this film and Woodall's character in Tuna.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We've had two movies end with the main character finally deciding to go back to a piano and play.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Strange.
Honestly, if you want to get me at the end of a film, do that, because I'm like, I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah. Right, exactly. That's speaking to you. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't realize that when I was watching it, but now that I'm looking back at it, yeah, that actually kind of makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think what's interesting about the film is that ultimately it's about a broken couple in a broken relationship who are awakened to the fact that their relationship is not working by this invite to the neighbors upstairs who blow into their lives one night and just disrupt their shit and expose all of their weak spots in the marriage. It just takes all of these shenanigans and a potential couple swap to make it happen.
Right. Yeah, to make them.
I think that's a great idea.
Realize. Yeah, no, yeah, and the way that it's handled too. I think. Oh, I love the shot. It's really simple, to be fair, but I think my brain was expecting it, which is why I loved it. Is the when he's playing the piano and there's just the shot held on the keys, and then you see her hand come in to continue, and then we then pan out on the camera, the window, again, of just them playing piano, which is the same shot she started at the beginning of the film with the door and the window as well. Yeah, really good, really well handled, I'd say.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. I think because we know it's based on a play, I would love to know the play in its original form. And I would love to be in a play like this one day. Like we spoke about Disclosure Day, I chose an actor. And for me, I always look at who would I realistically play if I was cast in it.
Obviously.
And obviously I chose Edward Norton. But yeah, so I played him. I played him in the entire movies I was watching it. And I was like, that would be so much fun.
Yeah.
But I also am very curious to see the original film one day, because as with most remakes, I almost always love the original more.
I think, I mean, obviously I'd have to see the play, but I can just see this working so much better as a film. I think it's a lot more intimate, and I think you get much better use of the space of the flat. Like I can't really visualize how they would make as good a use of the entire big, like this kind of big space, all these different rooms in a play, as well as they do in this movie.
Yeah, it's a really great question, Luke. So I mean, I probably won't, but I would love to just know what the changes are from the play when you know that's your presentation, to the adaptation of the play into a feature film by the same writer, to the remake by by these Americans. I would love to know what the changes are. And I think what you're saying is right, Luke, really, because Olivia Wilde does it in such a great way. I think shooting in one location is harder than shooting a movie that takes place in multiple locations. You need to think so outside the box. You need to make the camera so dynamic. You need to present us with shots that we haven't seen from the beginning in order to keep a general audience invested and leaning in. And yeah, she did that really, really well, I think.
I thought it was an interesting choice to start the film outside the flat. Like, I just didn't really understand why we needed that opening with Seth Rogen, like, at his work and coming home, and then we're at the flat, and then we don't leave the flat. Like, the film could have just started with him coming home from work, in a way.
But I don't think we would have seen how out of it he is in his job and how much he hates it, because they play this piece for him and he's not even looking at them, and he's sort of just, yep, good stuff, rehearse it a couple more times, and then he gets his bike and he sort of just walks off. And then so when that conversation comes back again about him hating the fact that he couldn't do what he did, what he had the chance to do, that kind of goes, okay, that makes sense. I mean, I guess we could have got painted that picture in more dialogue, but maybe it was just easier for them to just show at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when you think about the fact that this was a play, I'm sure the play began from the moment he came home. So,
right,
because you wouldn't have the luxury. Yes, exactly. And that's what was in my mind, knowing that this was a play before I watched it. And I think you're right, Steph. That could have been that's covered with his line of dialogue. But I get what you mean, Luke, and I think it's also a way. It's very interesting that Olivia Wilde begins the film with this it seems like a memory / recorded version of their very, very happy past. And then all of a sudden it cuts to him in his very unhappy state at work. It feels like, so what's the point of that? Is that meant to be what he's thinking about in that moment? Is that his memory? Or is that just her providing the audience with backstory on their relationship? Because there's a very clear mirror image, right, to what we hear in the beginning versus what we see happening in the very end. And so I can, I don't know. You're right. It feels out of place being in the conservatory, but I think everything is out of place in terms of the opening credit sequence. And then as soon as he gets home, it locks in. What do you both think about the end of the movie? Do you think that what does that represent to you? Does that represent hope that they can rekindle something in their marriage? Or is it just sort of a reminiscence of something special they used to have? And these two are so far gone that they'll move on at this point?
I think exactly the latter there. I think the film is too smart to just think it can make a massive U-turn on everything that has just broken down before our eyes for the last 2 hours just by him playing this piano. So I think it's exactly what you said, where it's more of like a reminiscence and an acceptance moment rather than them, oh, will they, won't they kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's too easy to end the film with, oh, they play the piano and after all this, their relationship is going to last a bit longer because they realized how they are. No, I don't think that's, again, exactly what Luke just said. I think they're just sort of reminiscing on the time they had together through the piano, and now this is like, now we're done.
It's so interesting. Yeah, Luke, because I want to think the opposite. And the thing is, the movie's presented through the lens of a comedy, right? And a comedy about a foursome. It's such a funny comedy about sex and how do we have sex as a four. But underneath all of that, there's a very serious emotional story being told. And I think that I really understand where these characters are coming from by the end. You know that argument that they have when Seth Rogen's sitting by the window, by the curtains? This complete misunderstanding they have with each other. And when she turns to him and says, you just basically decided to be unhappy. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? When he explains why he's unhappy, I totally get it. I totally understand it. And yet, when Olivia Wilde / Penelope Cruz almost makes him realize why he should just embrace what he has and stop being so bitter about what he hasn't, I totally get that too. That feels so real, right? That feels like a situation any of us could be in. Just remove the foursome aspect that got us there. Because I think either we would all be horrified or really love the idea of that. And I, maybe it's the sentimental part of me, but I would hope that him opening the piano and playing it again and allowing her to join him is the window to some sort of reconciliation or conversation between them that can't be had through dialogue, like the entire movie has been is dialogue, but through music, through passion, through talent, and sometimes that's the only way. But I think Olivia Wilde has absolutely left it open. Whatever interpretation you take from that ending is valid based on
Yeah.
your point of view.
Yeah.
So I think I really like that. I really like that.
I'm glad you brought up that moment of dialogue where he sat at the window, and that was definitely a standout for me. You know, the way, I don't know, I've had a very similar conversation before in a very similar set of circumstances, and it just felt really, really real, where when you're in a relationship, it's hard to sometimes, especially one that's not going well, is to think of it as me versus you, and like you have your case, so they have their case, and losing sight of each other, I guess. And I just think it captured that whole idea and the feeling of that kind of conversation really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even something as simple as him, again, like I think a lot of this is probably, I think it tailors to a lot of people, because you could have these conversations with previous relationships you've been in, or whatever, or when you've lived with somebody, and you kind of bring those up and you go, well, I've had this sort of a similar conversation before. And the conversation, I mean, I just loved when he gets back from basically walking the bike up that hill because he can't ride it up, and his back is hurting, and he's on the floor and he's complaining, and she's like, we've got guests coming over, and there's this whole thing. And then it gets to a point where they're getting pretty antsy with each other, and she goes, can we just reset? Okay, all right, fine. And the thing is, he accepts it, and for me, this is what I got from the dialogue. When he accepts it so easily, as opposed to what's that going to do? This has happened before. He's come home. He's had this conversation. They've been bickering, and he's had to reset. And so he goes back, and he comes back in again, and they start off pretty well. And then they both end up. You just said the same thing. Well, you just said the same thing
exactly
as well.
what you said before.
Yeah, because they're not going to change their minds. And I think the beginning of the film, of them resetting and then starting again, is a repetition of the end of the film, with them resetting, maybe with the piano piece. Not that he does it every day, but now going back to the time they had before, I don't think they're going to have a chance to properly reset, because they're going to end up going back to their original thoughts, and both being stubborn and both wanting what they want, that they're not going to end up being happy together,
Yeah, I think you're right, Steph. I think the movie comes from a very emotional place, honest place. And maybe that was from the play. Who knows? That's carried through all the way to this adaptation. But it felt very honest. It felt very honest about relationships. And sometimes one part of a relationship is going through something, and another part of a relationship is going through something. Yeah. And the result of that can seem like you're against each other.
But it's not even about each other.
It's not even about that. Yes, it's about an individual experience. Unfortunately, you've decided to share a life with this life partner, and now all of your baggage will be brought to that relationship, whether you or her can see that clearly or not.
Yeah.
And I thought that was communicated very well at the end.
It was just the simple scenes, like her giving the tour of the house and talking about all the decorative things she's done to the house, because that's what she's made her home. Something that Seth Rogen doesn't really appreciate or acknowledge.
Right.
One person coming in and going, I love that you've chose this style. Oh, that rug is so... Is that, this person? Is that the style? That immediately piques your interest. You're like, oh, someone actually cares about what I do, what I spend my time doing. Something as simple as that. It's like, that's so understandable. Why? And it's not even that they're both being unfaithful to each other. Someone's just taking an interest in what she cares about and what he cares about.
Yeah, totally. Luke, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
There's just one other moment I really wanted to mention, and it was another standout for me. It just reminded me when you were talking about like honest relationships and a very real, raw representation of real relationships, and it's the moment where Cruz's character is kind of trying to sit down and kind of almost be a therapist between
being the sexologist that she is.
Being the sexologist, right? And then And then there's just one little comment made by Norton where he corrects her English.
Oh,
and then their
yes.
relationship starts to break down, right? They start arguing with each other. And just whilst they're arguing, it cuts back to Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen, like smiling for the first time, looking at each other, like almost reveling in their argument.
It's not
And
just us. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Oh,
exactly. It's not just
Luke,
us.
I didn't even fucking
What a
notice
great moment.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that, but that is incredible. That's incredible.
Forget the facade, like
Yes.
like Cruise and Norton are putting up, like it's minus the hypersexuality and all that stuff, but it's like this is still a real relationship with its own cracks and everything.
Oh, that's
I just thought it was a great
amazing.
moment.
Something so simple that he breaks, that he must have even forgotten that she doesn't like when he corrects her with the English.
And clearly there is a long history of it. There
course,
has
yeah.
to be in order for her to snap, because you wouldn't snap if it was the first time.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredible for someone whose orgasms are the greatest thing Olivia Wilde has ever
That doesn't
heard.
make everything great, does it?
doesn't mean it's a perfect relationship.
Yeah.
It's do you know what? Credit to the film, because, and again, it only makes me think about my own relationship. And sorry, Carrie Ann, I'm not going to reveal everything about us on this podcast, but I think part of this podcast that's amazing is honesty.
Yeah.
And I know recently when I was speaking to Carrie Ann, I had to tell her and say, I'm never against you. Never. I'm always with you.
Mm.
So even if I want something and you have a different idea about what you want, don't get it twisted. It's never me against you.
Mm-hmm.
It's us together, and we will figure the rest out. And I'll be honest with you, boys, I think that was a very important conversation to have. I think that was a very important thing for her to hear, because sometimes that shit just either gets miscommunicated or it just gets left unsaid.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to communicate. For instance, I am a very frustrated actor, and Timothy Chalamet pisses me off, right? And it's like, I don't want to gripe and moan about Timothy Chalamet, but I am frustrated. Now, please understand where I'm coming from. This is all I've ever wanted. And what I do for my day job in life is not what makes me happy. From a fundamental point of view, from like deep inside my soul, what I do with my life every single day does not make me happy. I'm doing the wrong thing, as far as I see it. That colors my perspective on a lot of things, right? On my day job, on my routine in life. And I think it unfairly gets pushed onto my partner, Carrie Ann, sometimes. Nothing to do with what she's doing, but what she wants from life. I'm like, yeah, but don't you understand what I want? And I think that is the fundamental nature of relationships, right?
Yeah.
We both want different things, and yet we both want each other. We both want the same thing, but sometimes what you want in life isn't necessarily understood or appreciated by the person you are with, which reflects the behavior or the mentality or the attitude you put out. That is not an easy thing to fix. That is why we have, relationship counselors, marriage counselors. That's why there's a whole industry thriving and booming on communication.
Yeah.
But I think whoever this guy, Seth Gay, is, and what he originally started with, it's so easy to look at this film as just a funny foursome movie and taking the piss out of, coupling or whatever sexual nature you want to look at it. But it's about something deeper than that. That's actually honest and real.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay for an individual to want something for themselves. That's human nature. You're always going to want something for yourself. The point is that once that clashes with somebody else's wants, you need to talk about it. You need to be able to come to a compromise to I'm not here being the relationship guru because
You are now.
I guarantee you, if there's any ex-girlfriends of mine listening to this, they're gonna be like, "Who
Listen.
the fuck is this guy?"
For the Phoenix
Talking-
Cinema podcast, if anyone has any relationship issues, please message in. Stefan will take
No, but it's easy to say once you're on from the outside perspective. It's a lot harder to do once you're in it.
Yeah, totally.
This has been my bit. Like, I think, not including Hamnet because I would
Include it
say
this
Hamnet
year.
is this year, but let's say it was last year. This is probably my second favorite movie of the year so far, after Project Hail Mary. Yeah.
Respect.
What's happening? Oh, hang on a
Respect
minute. Hang on a minute. This or Project Hail Mary?
I mean, Project Hail Mary was that's one of the best sci-fi films we've had in years. I think it's better than Interstellar. So
No. Luke, I know for a fact you don't mean that.
I
Look,
do. I do.
Look, well, we don't have to. We don't
Interstellar
have to
is
do
a
this
great
now.
movie, but
We don't have
guys,
to have this
it's
conversation now.
overrated as hell. It's a good movie, but it's a great movie, but people need to stop saying it's the best movie ever made. Like,
Okay.
that's a whole other conversation for another day. But I honestly
It
think
is.
Project Hail Mary is a better sci-fi film than Interstellar.
It's
I put this in my review on Letterboxd.
We had an agreement that we wouldn't take any drugs or do anything before the calls. We need to make sure that we're having our honest opinions. And you have come and said that, and I feel like you're on drugs, Luke.
Maybe that's just
It's-
one of my rogue opinions, but
It's the
I stand
9th
by
of
it.
July, 2026. I think we all need to take a break. We will reconvene on the 9th of July, 2027, and we will assess all these opinions.
None of us just accepting his opinion. We always got to give.
I think we
something
need
else.
to have an Interstellar rewatch Interstellar, rewatch all these great sci-fi movies, and as part of this podcast, we need to actually have a breakdown of what is the best sci-fi.
Do you know what I
movie,
mean?
or the top
Yeah.
3 sci-fi movies from the last 20 years or something. And
I will
that would
agree
be
with
a
you
good
both. I will agree with you both. Disclosure Day is not. I don't even think it makes the list.
no, it
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
On top what?
Well, when you think about let's say of the decade, so you've got movies like
Okay.
Interstellar and Project Hail Mary. But I will say, so Luke, you weren't able to make the recent Interstellar live in concert at the Royal Albert Hall.
No.
I do wonder if that would have in any way changed your idea
I
about
think it
Project
would.
Hail Mary.
Because I think it's a great movie, but it's massively flawed at the end, and I hate what the choices Christopher Nolan makes at the end. So I don't think my
Fair
opinion will ever change that much. Like, I'm sure it was fucking amazing seeing it at the Royal Albert Hall, but
Stefan, you did. Oh, Stefan's leaving. Okay, there we
Stefan's
go.
gone.
That's our answer.
Okay, just to say that Arrival is better than them both. So
Again, I can't. This is too many missiles to be
I'm
firing.
killing you guys right now.
This late, this late in the podcast. Sorry, Steph. What you missed is that Luke said Arrival beats both anyway, which again is bye bye.
No, that is.
I didn't get to see
I have
Interstellar
my
live.
reasons.
I didn't get to see it live in concert, but I will say this, by the way, just as like a Royal Albert Hall aside, I've been thinking lately, do I need to message those guys? Like, Royal Albert Hall, I love you. I fucking love you. I think you are the best venue for live in concert films of all time.
There's a butt coming.
Let's start thinking outside the box, please.
Have they released
Because-
new ones? And it's just like Back to the Future again, or like the same?
Back to the Future, Star Wars. You've just put Top Gun Maverick again in concert. Hey, Top Gun Maverick, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Incredible concert. Please start thinking outside the box. Please start thinking about a retrospective of the careers of James Horner, of Jerry Goldsmith, of John Barry. Please start doing things that there is an audience for. And I will say this just for Luke. Think about a live in concert of Project Hail Mary by Daniel Pemberton. Because
That'll be cool.
I think
Luke will be there.
they
Me and Stefan will be there.
Yeah, I think there's a I think they really need to do a change up of their sort of yearly schedule of these films that they do, because a lot of them are repeats.
Well, I'm
But
looking at it now, and it's literally everything is stuff they've already done.
that's what I'm saying. You got to change it up. There can be a generation that maybe hasn't seen that yet, but there's also a generation that has been there and done that. And I think obviously pick things that are going to bring people in. You can't pick things that are so niche that are only going to fill half the auditorium, because they're not going to want to do that. They need the money. So
That's understandable. Yeah.
they need to pick things that are going to be popular, but just change it up. Change it up.
But the thing is, I understand from a programming point of view, if a composer has died and they haven't composed anything in the last 10 years, that you would think that there would be a real risk with that programming. But when you think about your Horners and your Goldsmiths and your Barrys, I don't know, but the optimistic side of me would like to think that that would be a packed house, because I know for a fact all three of us would be there.
Yeah.
There must be more of us out there, surely. Do you know what? It just occurred to me. Shall I try and get a Royal Albert Hall programmer on this podcast, and then I can confront them head on? Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I think they need to try something. Just do one thing, one show where you change your normal schedule of what you think is going to do, what you think is going to happen, and pick a film that may not work, might work. There's a fan base for it, and if that works, that shows you can do
Take
other
the
things
hint.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm desperate to see is like a Hitchcock score with a
Bernard Herrmann.
Yeah, Bernard Herrmann live, like Vertigo. Oh, that would be so nice.
Yeah,
South
man,
Bank
come
is
on.
more likely to do that than the Royal Albert Hall.
It's
you
true,
know?
and actually, they're releasing Taxi Driver in cinemas in the next couple of months.
I've seen,
for its
yeah, I've
anniversary. Yeah, so why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Cool.
Let's make it happen.
But we digress.
Yes. All right, folks. Listen, we've spoken long enough, but I think that was important. I think the movies warranted that. Any other final thoughts? Shall we wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think my room is about 45 degrees at the moment.
Yeah, me too.
I've
because
had
we've
to
turned
close
off
my
our
window
fans.
for this podcast.
Yes. Oh my fucking
I'm
god. Let's
burning.
get cool. Okay. All right. Thank you both very much. That was
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
It was a great conversation. Thank you very much. That's all from us today, folks. Our episodes are edited and music by Stefan Krieger. Find more of his stuff at stefan-krieger.com. You will not be disappointed. And in the meantime, let us know what you're watching. Tell us your thoughts about Disclosure Day. Tell us your thoughts about The Invite. And we'll see you next time on Phoenix Cinema Podcast. Bye for now.